and the same. There is no difference between mind and thoughts. Mind is thought and thought is mind. The mind is nothing more than the collection of your thoughts, the continuous flow of ideas. And thoughts are no more than the words that you speak to yourself continuously. You see, when you are worrying, allow yourself to enter deeply into it with acceptance and clarity. Don't be afraid to enter into it. Remember, acceptance is not impotence. Acceptance is a great meditation technique. Acceptance releases a great energy. It gives you great clarity and liberation. When you accept your worries, when you enter deeply into them, you will come to a tremendous understanding that all your worries are just your own creations. You will be able to see how your mind plays and causes tension in you. When I tell you, you can understand it only intellectually. When it becomes your own experience, when you have that clarity, you will go beyond worries. Then depression can never touch you. You will go beyond misery. A small story. When I was staying in Calcutta, taking classes on the Ishavasya Upanishad, a man came to see me. He said, "Swamiji, I have a problem. I don't sleep well at night because I live in an area where there are plenty of street dogs. Every night they start barking and they keep barking till sunrise. I'm already a very light sleeper and I simply can't get any rest because of this noise." I told him, "Go home and try this tonight. When you hear the barking, just drop the anger, the negative feelings that rise up in you. Just listen to the barking sound without resisting. Tell yourself that the dogs are barking, that's all. Don't allow yourself to react. The problem is not the barking, but your resistance to it." The man went back and he tried what I said. After a few days, he came back to me and reported, "Swamiji, I tried dropping my resistance as you said. Instead of thinking, how dare those stupid dogs spoil my sleep, I tried changing my thoughts gradually. The dogs are barking, it is spoiling my sleep. The dogs are barking. Some animals are creating some sounds. By the time I came to that sentence, I think I fell asleep. Anyway, I've been having excellent sleep all these days. Thank you, Swamiji." Now this can happen with you also. Any situation can be dealt with if you know how to drop your negativity, if you know how to drop your reaction to it. This is the key to open the Manipuraka Chakra. But the mind is so eager to harbor, to settle down in familiar patterns of inner chatter. This is the basis of the working of worry. The mind always looks to typecast things. It needs comparison all the time between past, present and future. And this comparison, this reference, this judgment, it gives birth to worry. Worries are nothing but familiar dwelling patterns for our mind. These familiar patterns are called engrams in the field of human psychology. Engrams are the engraved memories of the past which serve as an undesirable resource inside us for all our present and future actions. Because of these stored engrams, we react illogically in the present. Why can't we take every moment as it is? Why do we need to link the moment to the past and future and then draw the conclusions? Why is the mind looking for consistency in everything that it sees? And when it fails to see, why does it find it difficult to digest? This is because you are always looking to frame things with the help of your mental makeup, with the help of your stored engrams. And when you can't, you get worried. Have you ever seen me worrying any time? How many of you have asked me how I am able to be cheerful and unperturbed at all times? Let me tell you, the reason is I simply live in the moment. That's all. I don't carry the past as a reference in my mind. I don't burden my mind with these kinds of references. I act from spontaneity, not from patterns. I'm like a river that flows. Many of you who have accompanied me would have seen the river Ganges. How the river flows in the Himalayas. It is so beautiful. It appears serene at certain places, turbulent at other places, crystal clear at times, murky at other times. Where a person encounters it, that will be the experience he gets from it. Can two people who encountered it ever compare notes and complain? How foolish it would be. The river simply flows to the music of existence, that's all. It has no plan. I am like the Ganges. I flow without a plan, just spontaneously, without a worry. Existence is the master planner. Because of my spontaneity, people pass judgment on me. They say I am inconsistent. How many of you here have complained at my so-called inconsistent words and behavior? Come on, raise your hands. See, I am sure all of you must have had this thought at some point in time, just that only these people have had the courage to raise their hands. Can you say that the Ganges is inconsistent? Can you say that the Ganges should flow in a more orderly fashion? No. That is the way the river flows, that's all. You can't pass a judgment on it. In the same way, I flow like a river, and you can't call me inconsistent. I live moment to moment, while you live with highly interconnected and complicated moments put together. What is the result? You feel burdened and worried. When you have so many moments weighing on you, won't you definitely feel heavy? In the same way, when only the moment is on you, won't you feel light? All your worries are because you connect the present and the future with past patterns. In the whole process, you miss the present, which is actually a gift to you. You continuously miss the present for the sake of the past and the future. Finally, only the future and past remain, never the present. These patterns that cause the current of worry have become a life-sustaining element for our mind. A small story. Two friends went to a theatre to watch a newly released film. One of them noticed that the other was frequently looking at his watch. Finally, he whispered to him, "Are you not enjoying the film?" The friend replied, "I am. I'm just wondering how much more time is left to enjoy." Actually, most of us are like this. We are so tuned to worrying that even if there is nothing to worry about, we worry about how long the state of no worry is going to last. When we are enjoying ourselves, we enjoy thinking how much time is left to enjoy. How will we ever enjoy then? When you are continuously thinking this way, you are keeping yourself in the future all the time. When you try to hold on to any moment of pleasure in the future, you have missed the pleasure of that moment. Do you follow what I am trying to say? If you deeply analyze yourself and the others in your own family, you will be able to observe what I am saying. Everyone feels important and productive when they harbor worries. Actually, the more the worries, the more a person feels good about himself, because his ego feels good at being able to manage so much worrying. That is why most often you'll find that when you talk about your worries to someone, they will say, this is nothing. Listen to my problems. Then you will know what it is. This is because people feel superior in shouldering big worries. By thinking of worry